Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Rajya Sabha passes Enemy Property Amendment and Validation Bill of 2016. Opposition parties stage a walkout, claim the bill was being passed in haste. Supreme Court issues warrant against Calcutta High Court Judge Justice C.S. Karnan for failing to appear in contempt case. Court directs West Bengal DGP to ensure his appearance on March 31st. And Constitutional Court upholds parliamentary vote to impeach South Korean President Park Geun-hye. 60 days left to elect a new leader. Well, the Rajya Sabha passed the Enemy Property Amendment and Validation Bill of 2016 on Friday. The opposition, however, raised objections that the bill was being passed in haste and staged a walkout. Explaining the background and the need for urgency to pass the bill, Leader of the House Arun Jaitley said that the bill is closely linked to national security. With no member present in the opposition benches, the statutory resolution was negated and the bill was passed in the upper house.
The object is that the enemy must not hold property in my territory. You never enrich the enemy. You always weaken the enemy when you are at war with the enemy. Whatever political signals people want to send, this is a security issue. It's an issue of principle. The rationale behind the principal legislation of 1968 is that you don't allow property or commercial interest of the enemy in India. And an enemy is a person with whom India has gone on to war, and on the date of the war, if he was a citizen of an enemy, he loses his property. By this, forever. Forever. This is the law all over the world. So let us not create, only for vote bank politics, an exception where enemies by this process, enemies in law, can then get to acquire properties in India.
Well, the recent incidents of protests and violence in Delhi University and other central varsities came up for discussion in the upper house on Friday. Members from the left parties termed it a dangerous trend and an attack on the freedom of expression.
Members of left parties raised the issue of protests in Delhi University in the upper house on Friday. Raising the issue during 0 hour, CPI MP D. Rajya termed it as an attack on the freedom of expression. CPIM MP Sitaram Yechuri also supported Rajya, saying such incidents should not be allowed to take place on university campuses.
There is an increasing attack on academic freedom, freedom of thought, freedom of expression, freedom of creation. Sir, there is growing tension. There is growing tension in all our campuses. JNU is tense and students are fighting against new admission policy that is being introduced in JNU. It will definitely adversely impact the entry of students from scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC and minorities. And this is the new admission policy students are agitating.
All these universities have been established by law enacted by us, by this August House. So we have a direct bearing in what is happening in these universities. In the name of Hindutva nationalism, they are decrying Indian nationalism, and that is something we cannot allow.
Okay.
And here organizations are taking upon themselves the right to decide who is wrong and who is right.
They also give
Please, others take
if you allow their 267
all of them
notice
sit
and
down.
convert into a 0 hour, then allow our notice also in a 0 hour.
These members who have already spoken, they have given 267 notice, which is to be taken at 0 hour itself. 267 means suspension of the business of the day. That has to be taken at 0 hour. 0 hour. So chairman has full right, honorable chairman has full right to allow it in the form of 267. If 267 is allowed, then we will have to suspend the entire business of the day. So chairman, in view of the fact that we all want business to the house, chairman, in our interest, see, in the whole interest to the House, converted these 267 notices into 0-hour notices. And so, accordingly, I call the names. Your notice, yes, correct. Your notice is call attention notice. If you want, instead of call attention notice, only 0-hour notice, okay, you can approach the Honorable Chairman. He will have no problem. He will allow it. But call attention is a different thing. You should know that. Call attention means the minister has to be prepared. Minister has to be ready, and there should be a statement, and there is a procedure for that. So your calling attention, converting into 0-hour is I think it is something we cannot do.
On its part, the government said it is willing to have a discussion on this issue. Vishal Daya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Lok Sabha passed the Admiralty Jurisdiction and Settlement of Maritime Claims 2016 bill on Friday. The bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha in November last year. The bill seeks to consolidate the existing laws on civil matters of Admiralty jurisdiction of courts, Admiralty proceedings on maritime claims and arrest of ships. Admiralty roles deal with the cases of accidents in navigable waters or involve contracts related to commerce on such waters.
बिल लाने का हेतु भी ये है कि जो एडमिरल्टी के संदर्भ में जो कार्यक्षेत्र है और उसमें जो दावे है, दावे विस्तार से और कोई भी उसमें छूट ना रह जाए, कुछ क्षति ना रह जाए, और जो पुराने कानून थे वो कानून के तहत जो कार्यवाही नहीं हो सकती थी और उसमें जो कंफ्यूजन होता था वो कंफ्यूजन भी ना रहे.
Well, in an unprecedented move, the Supreme Court today issued a bailable warrant against sitting judge of Calcutta High Court Justice C.S. Karnan in a contempt case. The warrant was issued after Justice Karnan refused to abide by the Apex Court's order to be personally present before it in a contempt proceeding against him. The 7-judge bench headed by Chief Justice J.S. Keher said that the bench was left with no option but to issue the warrant to ensure Justice Karnan's presence in court. The bench also directed the West Bengal Director General of Police to personally execute the arrest warrant to ensure the judge's presence on March 31st. Justice Karnan is facing contempt charges for making allegations against retired and sitting judges of the Supreme Court and Madras High Court. Justice Karnan claimed that he was being unfairly targeted.
Wantonly, deliberately issued the order against me in order to ruin my life. Career. In this way, already I made several allegations against Justice R. K. Agarwal, Justice M. Iqbal, Justice Ibrahim Khalifullah, Justice Manikumar, Justice Tanabalan, on various grounds, corruption, rape, and forgery, etc.
Well, the counting of votes in Uttar Pradesh will be taken up on Saturday along with 4 other states. Preparations for counting have been completed at the 75 centers across the state. Kriti Mishra brings this report on the preparations.
The stage is set in Uttar Pradesh for counting of votes on March 11th, with the administration laying out a foolproof security plan to ensure that counting passes off peacefully. The Election Commission has instructed electoral officers to set up additional CCTV cameras to monitor carrying of EVMs from strong rooms to the counting hall. A 3-tier cordoning system will be set up in all counting centers to prevent the entry of any unauthorized persons.
About 187 companies of Central Armed Police have been deployed in the entire state for peaceful counting. We have to restrict the entries in the counting centers, at the gates, outside the gates. The proper public order has to be maintained. And once the counting is over, we are not allowing any procession.
Buoyed by the exit polls and in anticipation of victory, the BJP has already placed an order for sweets. On the other side, the Samajwadi Party has denounced the exit polls and are also preparing to celebrate.
ये पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त है हम जिस तरह से 16 मई 2014 को परिणाम आए थे उत्तर प्रदेश में भाजपा के पक्ष में हम पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त है कि 11 मार्च 2017 को भी उसका ही दोहराव होने वाला है। भाजपा एक 300 से ज्यादा विधायकों की सीट उत्तर प्रदेश में जीत करके एक स्थायी पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार बनाने जा रही है।
उन्होंने दिल्ली के चुनाव में भी लड्डू के ऑर्डर किए थे, लड्डू बांटे थे बिहार के चुनाव में तो खा भी लिए थे, मुझे उम्मीद है कि कल भी खा लेंगे। सुबह 10 बजे तक का मौका है उनके पास, क्योंकि जो एग्जिट पोल आए हैं जिस तरीके से ऑर्डर कर रहे हैं, पटाखे भी बिहार में उन्होंने फोड़े थे, कल भी फोड़ लें, लेकिन अंत में जब 11 बजे के बाद जो असली रुझान शुरू होगा, मुझे उम्मीद है कि समाजवादी पार्टी और गठबंधन पूर्ण बहुमत सरकार बनाएगा।
The scramble in Uttar Pradesh is for 403 seats. The grueling 2-month-long election process ended on March 8th.
Exit polls may have emboldened the BJP, but will Uttar Pradesh see a clear winner, or is it heading towards a hung assembly? Who will get to reign this splendid building of Uttar Pradesh Vidhan Sabha? Well, we shall get to know all that very soon. Reporting from Lucknow with camera person Arvind, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, joining me for a chat right now to talk about how the preparations are in several of the states that went to polls recently, of course, Shyam Sundar live from Chandigarh, Kriti Mishra, of course, joining us from Lucknow, and Akhilesh Suman from Imphal. Let me first go to Kriti Mishra. Kriti, what's the mood like in Uttar Pradesh, and what are the kind of preparations that are in place for counting day?
Well, Frank, the administration is all set to conduct peaceful counting tomorrow. So, of course, there would be 3-tier security at all the counting centers, and at 8 o'clock first postal ballots would be opened in front of the agents of political parties and also election commission officials. So, of course, the election commission and the administration have taken all the steps to beef up the security. There would be around 187 companies of paramilitary forces to ensure that peaceful counting takes place. So certainly, as far as the administration is concerned, they have definitely put in all the endeavors that tomorrow counting can take place absolutely peacefully. Frank?
Indeed. And Shyam Sundar, you of course are in Chandigarh. What's the mood and situation like over there?
Well, as far as mood is concerned, everybody has seen the exit polls, and exit polls has predicted a very close fight between Aam Aadmi Party and Congress. And during our election coverage also, we have seen that it's a contest between a contest between Aam Aadmi Party and Congress Party. And as far as Akali Dal and BJP is concerned, this combination looked like out of the race. But as far as preparations are concerned, Election Commission has made all the arrangements, all security arrangements are there, and every political party is prepared. Their counting agents are prepared. So 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, counting will start in different counting centers.
Indeed. Akhilesh Suman, you of course are in Imphal in Manipur. We saw that, the voter turnout in Manipur was extremely high, and also the voting went on relatively peacefully in the state of Manipur. As far as counting is concerned, what are the officials saying? Are they saying that the counting too will be a day of peace?
Yeah, it seems that the counting will be a day of peace, even when there was repolling at various centers yesterday, and even today repoll took place. So Manipur, the whole electoral office of Manipur has been quite engaged in various activity, and they have to count almost 17 lakhs 700 votes at 11 centers they are going to count, and 13 of them are Imphal itself, and some of them are in hilly areas also. So challenges in Manipur are quite different from that in other parts of the country, because it is a mix of hilly and plain area. Also the communication level is not too high, but the way a state is reacting to it is very welcome. Almost 89% polling turnout has gone, and if you talk to the parties privately, Congress is conceding that it will be around 40 seats, some seats lower than what they had got in earlier elections. And BJP is also saying that it will not get the simple majority, though publicly they are telling that they are going to get a simple majority. So hints are from the BJP that there might be a situation when assembly is hung, and in that case they have to depend on independent and other smaller parties. But whatever be the situation, the parties are geared up BJP has put a big screen in front of his office to show hourly distribution of seats in whose favor it has gone. And Congress is also gearing up. Though Congress is very humble, they are not accustomed to the high technology. So the suggestions have came, and I think that tomorrow Congress will also come up with some scripts. But you know that
all right, Akhilesh Suman, we'll have to leave it at that. Akhilesh Suman, Shyam Sundar and Kriti Mishra, thank you so much for joining us there with all those inputs and sharing with us what exactly is happening on the ground in these three crucial states. Now our correspondent Ravindra Sharon took stock of preparations in Goa ahead of counting on Saturday. Let's take a look.
We are standing right now in front of the counting center where the counting for the assembly election is going to happen. All the necessary arrangement has been done by the election commission. Security has been very much tightened up here. 3-tier security arrangements have been done, which includes the local police, the home guards and the central armed police forces also. The strong rooms of this area has been taken care by the CAPF, and no unauthorized person is allowed to enter beyond this point, including all the officers and the candidates who are going to see their countings will not be allowed to carry mobile phones as well. The special security arrangements has been done. Frisking will be done by the police here. Special arrangements has been done by Election Commission to provide information in the real time to the candidates and the sitting outside, the curious people who are sitting outside and watching the election results very cautiously. Also, the data of the last years will also be given by the Election Commission. This is the first time that they are going to do in this election. The main issues which are faced in this election were the Mopa airport issue, the special category status issue, the dual citizenship issue, the language issue, and the casino and the culture. These are some of the important issues which the people of Goa are strictly thinking that whoever comes to the power but should be in this position to deal with these issues, and there should be a permanent solution for all problems and all issues which the people of this tiny state are facing for last many years. In Panjim, with cameraman Manish Bhalla, Ravin Singh Shoran for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, moving on, now Prime Minister Narendra Modi today welcomed the passage of the Maternity Bill, calling it a landmark moment. Sending his good wishes on Twitter, Modi said that the bill will better health and well-being of the mother and the child. Under the new Maternity Benefit Amendment Bill, paid maternity leave in organized sector has been increased to 26 weeks, which will benefit about 1.8 million women. The new law will apply to all establishments employing 10 or more people, and the entitlement will be for only up to first 2 children. The bill also requires every establishment with 50 or more employees to provide creche facilities within a prescribed distance. The bill was passed by the Lok Sabha yesterday, 9 months after the Rajya Sabha approved it. Well, here's a roundup of the other national news and nationwide. Protests by fishermen in Tamil Nadu entered the 3rd day on Friday against the killing of one of their colleagues allegedly by the Sri Lankan Navy. Their demand is for a visit by a representative of the centre and an assurance that the fishermen will not be attacked by the Sri Lankan naval personnel while fishing in the Park Straits. The Supreme Court on Friday dismissed a PIL regarding an SIT probe into the media's role in the Augusta Westland VVIP chopper scam case. Calling it an attack on the media's independence, the court said investigative agencies are free to carry out a probe if they come across evidence of the involvement of certain individuals. VM Sudhiran on Friday announced his decision to step down from the post of Kerala Congress chief, citing ill health. The 69-year-old leader said that he was sending his resignation letter to Congress President Sonia Gandhi today itself. Sudhiran is known for taking a firm stand on several issues which led to differences between him and senior party colleagues. Students appearing for Class 10 board exams from next year will have to study 6 subjects instead of 5, with the CBSE remodeling its assessment scheme. Students currently have a choice of studying a vocational subject as an additional course. However, from the 2017-18 academic year, it will be compulsory to study a vocational subject. The CBSE has remodeled its assessment scheme under the National Skills Qualifications Framework. Well, moving on to some international news now, where South Korean President Park Geun-hye was impeached today, with the Constitutional Court upholding a parliamentary vote to eject her from office for her role in a corruption and influence peddling scandal. The decision triggered violent protests in which 2 people were killed. South Korea now has 60 days to elect a new leader.
South Korea's President Park Geun-hye became the country's first democratically elected leader to be forced out from office. The country's top court on Friday upheld Park's impeachment and issued a verdict to remove her from office over a corruption scandal involving her close friend. 65-year-old Park was impeached in a parliamentary vote last December.
피청구인을 파면함으로써 얻는 헌법 수호의 이익이 압도적으로 크다고 할 것입니다. 이에 재판관 전원의 일치된 의견으로 주문을 선고합니다. 주문, 피청구인 대통령 박근혜를 파면한다.
The ruling sparked angry protests from hundreds of her supporters as they clashed with the police outside the court. 2 protesters were killed and several others were injured.
이 헌재의 판결을 우리 국민들은 받아들일 수 없습니다. 우리 국민들은 자유민주 대한민국을 위해서 끝까지 저항해 나갈 것입니다.
Soon after the ruling, acting President and Prime Minister Wang Kyo-yan convened a cabinet and National Security Council meet. He called for calm in the country, saying the government should remain stable to prevent internal conflict from spreading.
더 이상 장외 집회를 통해 갈등과 대립을 확대하는 이런 일은 바람직하지 않습니다.
Park is alleged to have been personally involved in using her presidential connections to pressure companies into giving millions of dollars in donations to non-profit foundations that she controlled. She now no longer has immunity as president and could face criminal charges over bribery, extortion and abuse of power. Prime Minister Huang will remain acting president until the presidential election, which will be held within 60 days. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup of the other international news in Global Buzz. The United States is turning up the heat on Pakistan. A strongly worded bill was introduced in the US Congress by Congressman Ted Poe to declare untrustworthy ally Pakistan a state sponsor of terrorism. Introducing the bill, Poe said that it is time we stop paying Pakistan for its betrayal and designate it for what it is, a state sponsor of terrorism. The bill requires the US President to issue a report within 90 days answering whether Pakistan has provided support for international terrorism. At least 2 persons were killed and 1 badly injured after a shooting at a Swiss cafe in Basel in Switzerland. The shootout took place at 8:15 p.m. local time on Thursday. According to reports, 2 men entered the Cafe 56 and fired several shots. Authorities said that the assailants fled the scene. However, a search operation to locate them was launched soon after. The reason behind the attack is not yet known. 7 people have been injured in an axe attack at Dusseldorf Central train station in Germany. One of those attacked is seriously injured. The suspected assailant has been taken into custody. The attacker was also badly injured after jumping from a bridge while trying to escape. Police say that the 36-year-old suspect from former Yugoslavia suffers from psychological problems. Well, that's it on this edition of the news at 6. Have a good evening.